And it's not even that it wasn't together. It's a different, anyway, it was just starting to hit me a little bit more of, so it's not so bad to feel that sometimes and know that actually it can be a starting place rather than a place of
it's
helplessness
not bad.
and hopelessness. Right. It can be a starting place. And a through place and an end place. I mean, it's, it can be whatever stage of things, but that just starting to click. Sorry, it takes a while for things to click, but it's like, oh, okay.
No, asking anyone to share within moments of having kind of even just asked a question, is a challenging thing for most people to do. So I thought you did that great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thanks. Yeah, so good. Anyone else want to comment?
I just wrote, the only thing I'm certain of is the Lord's goodness and love for humanity, and how that plays out is uncertain, but I am convinced that he speaks, that he is love, and that his love never fails, and because of that I'm okay. Not necessarily safe, because he's good, not safe.
Yes, so good.
Like Aslan.
Yes, I was just like Aslan. That's good. Thanks. Anybody else want to share where they're at?
Okay, so I kind of went about this a slightly different way. And thinking about what you were talking about, all I could envision was my own really good mastery of compartmentalization. Like I am like a filing cabinet of emotions. And so the questions then I was asking was, how does that serve me? But how does it also hold me back? And what am I stuffing or filing and not really addressing? Or what steps do I need to take to prioritize, resolve, and release, and then let God in? Where do I need to give up that control? And then just say, okay, I don't even think I have space in my filing drawers. My cupboards, they're all very full.
They're full.
But I'll make space. It'll be a goal.
That's really, really good. That's really, really good. Yeah.
So I really don't understand how
God
literally I have a thought and then an hour later you're talking about it. And I say the exact words. Anyways, it's so weird. Okay.
It's so crazy cool.
So I have a situation.
By the way, on that note, if I ever say anything about your life and you think I know stuff, I don't. I don't know stuff. I mean, so if I ever hit something, because you've had it happen where literally you've had every week there's specific sentences that you're like, I think Nick even said once, are you bugging our car? What is going on? So by the way, that's just God just doing that thing that he does it when we're open to going with what he's doing in our lives. You know how he does that, right? He'll talk to you through a license plate. He'll find these, beautiful different ways. So anyway, by the way, I don't know anything that people think I know. I don't know squat. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So anyways, I was processing today such a similar situation in my life where I made a decision that I thought about for a long time, and then I'm regretting it and rethinking it, and I have that dissatisfaction and discontentment with what it is. But the way I understood your question was how can I respond in a different way? What can that look like? And so I wrote down participating in moments where I feel dissatisfied instead of isolating myself and brooding, which is my coping mechanism in those situations, and then thanking the chaos instead of villainizing it, and seeing opportunities instead of frustrations.
That's really good. That's really good. That's so good. I think no matter what the emotion is that we're experiencing, if it's emotion that we're uncomfortable with, whether it's a moment of regret, or whether it's a moment of fear, or whether it's a moment of anger or bitterness, whatever it is that feels uncomfortable, we will get ample opportunity to deal with it now or later. And we discover that the opportunities are coming up through the habits and the emotions that continue to repeat themselves that we don't like. And I had a great conversation with someone this week who said, I don't know how to deal with it. Because what happens is we find ourselves exploding on people. We find ourselves exploding on ourselves. We find that it pops out in ways. And my suggestion is that we go, Lord, I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know how to deal with this. But you are a genius, so show me. Because here's what we tend to do, and this is how I'm going to wrap this up. We tend to, and do you mind grabbing the marker? We tend to see our habits or our coping mechanisms or the behavior that makes us uncomfortable, right, as something we need to fix. So behavior, if you write down behavior. So we see that as something we need to fix. That can either be an addiction, it can be a pattern, it can be an emotional pattern, a thought pattern, but whatever it is, we're going to pretty much, kind of label it as somewhat of a behavior, right? And we tend to want to fix it. So if you'll just put fix right in the middle. And how do we try to fix it? We try to fix it with another behavior, right? We try to fix the overweightness with a behavior that will reduce the weight, when almost all the time it's not about the food. Yeah, it's a symptom. So we try to fix behavior with behavior. And how successful are we at that? Super not. We move one addiction to another addiction, right? And some of them might look better, Some of them might, giving and serving might look like a really, a good upgrade. But whatever it is that's an addiction, it's not, free. And because you're hanging on to it with your fingernails. So during my time, I was asking the Lord, what was it about this regret? Because by the way, also, I'm not a regret-oriented person. I've made huge mistakes in my life, and I regret almost none of them. I'm not a big regretter. So for me to have such an issue with regret was like a big eye-opener for me to go, okay, ding, 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 something's going on here. And I told you I hadn't heard yet. Well, I started to hear. Yay, in this space. So thank you, all you who have wisdom to share. Because the Lord said to me, your issue with regret, ask yourself this question, what are you afraid of? So for me, and I didn't know this until a few seconds ago, part of it was fear. I was afraid. And my fear is, if I don't make just the right decisions on this house, we won't ultimately be able to do it. If I don't make all the right decisions, this won't work out. And that's, right? That's a big burden to carry. And then you're making a lot of decisions out of fear, which never goes well.
To be fair, that's what I told her.
I love you so much.
You don't know perfect.
Right, if you're not perfect, it's not going to happen. But we're in a really tight budget, really, really tight. So certain decisions are going to really impact things. So anyway, all of that to say that it leads me right back to the understanding that so oftentimes we try to fix a behavior with a behavior, when really what we're looking for is wisdom. Because if you remember, and Carrie, I love that you shared this, that over the face of the deep, the unformed, the unorganized possibilities was the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit hovered over the deep. And so the Holy Spirit hovers over our deep. Hovers over our deep. And I love Proverbs 8, 9, and 10, where the Holy Spirit says, I who am wisdom. I who am wisdom. You want to know what's going on in the world. You want to understand what's happening in your world. And I've shared this many times before. And the Holy Spirit says, I will help you. I was here before the foundations of the world. I was here before the circle was drawn on the deep. I was here before the land was moved from the waters, right? I was here, I get it. Ask me, come in, sit down with me, and eat a meal with me, and I will teach you wisdom. And so we're not looking for another behavior to solve the behavior. We're actually looking for wisdom, and wisdom is a relationship. Yay! Yay! Because I think we sang a song about God like relentlessly pursuing us in a very passionate, unstoppable way, really desperately wanting to just be in relationship with us and give us wisdom. And so he's going, I want this more than you want it yourself. I want this more. I want to give you enlightenment. And ask those questions, like the sovereignty question. Is that the best way to view me here? Or is there something new I want to unfold? Is there something new about you that I want to unfold? So he just uncovered for me a fear that could have propelled my behavior through the entire process of the house and robbed all my joy. Right? And now I get to make a new decision and a new partnership. So, I'll let you know how that goes, but I'm super excited. And each of us gets to partner with something new. And so we practice that every week. So I'm actually going to bring up the Gagnons, you two, because it's Christy's birthday this week, and because you guys have given so much to this community, and because I'm in charge of the prophetic practice, the listening prayer practice, so I get to just decide whatever I wanted. So I asked the Lord, and he said, this is how we're going to do it. So we practice listening for each other, because sometimes it's easier to hear for other people than it is to hear for ourselves. Because, by the way, when we hear wisdom, what will wisdom do? It will love us, it will knock us over like an awesome dog and lick us all over our face, and wisdom will dislodge the lies that we've held on to.
Yeah.
So if you are really committed to the lie that you've held on to, wisdom will not rip it away from you. Wisdom will honor and respect the lies that you need until you no longer need them anymore. So, super cool about that.